Hey, this is Charles from Book Puma, and I wanted to take time to talk to you about some important things. The reasons that most of us struggle with choosing an editor, feeling confident with the editor we're working with, maybe the cost structure, maybe previous experiences, time constraints, editing skill level. There's so many different things that go into finding an editor that you feel comfortable with and you trust with your art, your hard work. Even if it's a nonfiction book, maybe it's just something for real estate. You still want it to be done right. You still want this presentation to be what you look for, what you need, your vision. And I struggled with this in the beginning because I didn't have the confidence to even know how to choose an editor. That's where Book Puma comes in. We have an endless supply of editors at your disposal that we can work through, find the right fit for you. Okay, maybe not an endless supply, but you know what I mean. A little red line edit there. What's the biggest thing that most people struggle with when it comes to finding an editor? It's cost. Because usually you're coming in at the very end of a project and you're asking somebody to help you edit 80,000 words, 50,000, 60,000, pick the number, 150. A developmental edit on that, even if you go on the way low side of a couple cents per word, is not cheap, right? You're talking about $1,000, $2,000. Now, if you can get help along the way, the amount of issues you have is much lower, which makes the whole process that much more efficient and your confidence that much better. Which is one of the issues that most people have when it comes to choosing an editor, confidence. At Book Puma, we have a complaint department, which if you're hiring one editor solo through another platform, who's the complaint department? Even if you use these third-party places, they have all this lingo. It's like, don't look at us, we're just a marketplace. Book Puma has a complaint department. You can work your way eventually all the way up to me. I mean, there's other people between me and you, like the vice president, the editorial director, but there's layers of support, layers of people you can talk to find the right solution. That's the most important part. Time constraints. A lot of people aren't ready, or they're writing in the future, or they want to get to it. They haven't gotten to it. Many people, when they come to us, are in this exact same situation. The beauty is, if you pay monthly, whether you're starting at the lower entry level or you're, $200, $300, $400 a month versus 5, 10 grand at once, it gives you access to all the tools you need as you need it. And if you aren't using everything, certain parts of those memberships roll over so they don't get wasted, right? It's not like a gym membership if you don't go. You just paid a month and you didn't go. Imagine if part of that rolled over. That's what we're doing here. We're setting you up for success. Personal preferences. Again, this kind of goes through having a complaint department. Having people who are willing to work with you, talk with you, find out your communication skills. If you need more face-to-face or more verbal communication, we're not going to put you with an editor who struggles with that. If you need more detail explain notes, but you really don't want to do the face-to-face or the audio, well, then we'll find you the right person who can communicate better. That's the beauty of working with a team like this, is to find the right person for you and your manuscript to bring the best out of it. Just find authors that have used us at Blue Handle that we use who've had these experiences too. Whether it's Ray Franz, Leslie Leoto, myself, a couple new authors we've got coming along the way, AJ. The experiences of working with our editors, they all say the same thing. It's been the most amazing collaborative thing I've ever could imagine. My other favorite is when people say, oh, this is real. When we give free edits away or we give different, yeah, we want to make a difference in your writing and the consumption of readers everywhere. Because if we inspire amazing writers, it's better for everybody. The fear of criticism is also a big problem. I struggled with this. I got so upset, I created my own company. I created a publishing company and editing company because I just couldn't handle the feedback. Now I pay a team of people pretty much to yell at me. I mean, they don't, but you know what I'm talking about. One of the reasons we do some of the things we do, phone calls, audio notes for your top sheet. So when you get your editing back from an editor, we also do an audio file with it. So that way you can hear the context, the tone of the person working on your project. You may be reading, you struggle with commas in many places, and this is something you'll have to work on. You may read that super negative. Now, if you hear the audio that says, hey, you work with some comma issues, but we'll work on it, no big deal. You're going to internalize it completely different. And you hear the lighter audio versus what you might pick with your criticism internally. Trust issues. Again, having a complaint department to talk to ask questions about, to rework, to understand allows us to build trust. Not just doing an all or nothing approach, allowing you to do a few pages at a time. Allows us to build trust on a step-by-step basis. Think of it like a first date. You may really enjoy that first date and go all the way with somebody. You may, after one day, be like, not for me. That's the beauty of the different steps that we have. Regardless of your total level of commitment or comfort, you can do whatever you please. That's the beauty of it. Perceived need. A lot of people will say, well, I don't need an editor. Myself included in the beginning, I was an arrogant idiot. Oh my God, did I need an editor? Do I need editors? Professional athletes have coaches. Professional athletes have, a lot of times, shrinks. Even if they're not struggling with the same kind of like maybe deep depression, the amount of stress that's on you to perform is huge. That also comes to writing, to any art form. You want to perform, you want to continue, you want to do your best work. Finding people to trust allows you to understand the need to get better. Because if you have confidence in the people you're talking to, it makes things easier to absorb. Your book will be better, your story, when you get an outside view. The feedback is just immense. It's needed. The amount of rewrites that go into a movie script, by the time you see this polished product that looks amazing, it's been reworked and massaged so many times. And not because somebody is horrible, it's because they understand the process, that the first thing you get out there versus working it down. I was listening to a podcast recently. I can't remember the actor. It was a writer and an actor. And he called it your vomit draft. Not even rough draft, vomit draft. And their key was they like to just do a dictaphone or record it because it forces you to always go forward. You can't go back. Like it's linear, right? You can't, like when you type. So they would literally do almost the whole vomit draft audio and then listen back and type because it forces them to keep moving forward. People who are pros at this understand rewrites, second sets eyes, beta readers, arc readers, developmental editors are so important to making your story shine. A lot of times, some of your favorite authors, you may be like, man, what changed? Or even favorite musicians. Man, I love their first two albums. New producer on the third album. New editor on the fourth book. Those relationships matter to the product. You don't even realize how much you need or understand the impact those people put in the way you consume. And now if you're trying to generate as a writer, it's important. Editing skills. Again, the beauty of working with a company like us is we work with our team to understand their strengths and weaknesses so that when we see your project, we find the right person or the right tool for that job. If you're somebody who has really good analytical writing skills, meaning you know where a comma goes, you know where a period goes, right? Like you're really good at the black and white, but you're struggling at developing the proper story, well, then you want somebody who's not necessarily got an eye for detail, but has an eye for story, plot, and development. Those are different skills. Some people, can do a lot and overlap, but people have strengths and weaknesses. We all do, right? When it comes to my writing, my strength is dialogue. My weakness is like world building. I don't even think about it sometimes. I've gotten better because editors have asked me and pushed me. We all have strengths and weaknesses. Understanding how to put a team together is where Book Puma comes in. Again, a lot of times writers have deadlines and they'll be like, I just got to get it done. Having a team at your disposal. You don't even necessarily need to hire an editor for just a project. Maybe you need it for writing. Are you a content writer? Maybe you're writing for your newspaper or you're writing for a website. Maybe you want an extra set of eyes that you can send 1 or 2 pages to before you send it to your editor. It's not just for stories. We've helped screenwriters. We've helped nonfiction writers. We've helped governmental memos. We've done a little bit of everything you can imagine. Previous experiences. I tell my employees this all the time in my other companies. When someone comes to us, we can't be upset if they had bad experiences and they jumped the gun. It's our job to coach, communicate, and cultivate. What that means is we are the totality of our experiences, something a lot of us have heard by now. But what that means is if you've had bad experiences with editors, you're probably going to be frustrated or scared when you come to us. And that's okay. And be upfront and we'll help. Maybe you've had an amazing experience with an editor, but they're no longer available. Same thing. Communicate, work with a team, find the right solution for you. At Book Puma, that's what it's about. What are you waiting for? You've gone through this whole video and now it's time to solve this. You got this.